Hello everyone. Before starting the lesson, try the warm-up. Factor fully. So for each expression, factor using what you've learned so far about factoring. So pause the video and try it. The first one, we look for common factors. The greatest common factor is 3x, and the other factor must be x plus 3. The next one, there is no greatest common factor for 3 terms. So this is just a simple trinomial. We find two numbers that multiply to -16 and add to +6. That's -2 and +8. For the next one, we have a greatest common factor of 3, which leaves us with x squared plus 4x minus 5. And that can be factored even more. We can factor this simple trinomial. We need two numbers that multiply to -5 and add to +4. So it's -1 and +5. So this is the fully factored form. Likewise, for the last one, we have a greatest common factor of 8x, which leaves us with a simple trinomial, which we can factor, and we get the fully factored form down here. This is a review of all the factoring we've done so far. If any of this gave you trouble, please pause the video and ask for help before you move on to the lesson. We're going to continue on this theme of changing to factored form. So when we have the standard form of a quadratic equation, we can turn it into factored form by factoring. And there's different kinds of factoring. The one we're going to look at today is a complex trinomial. And a complex trinomial is an expression written in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, the coefficient on the x squared term, is not 1. If it was 1, it would be a simple trinomial, but if it's not 1, it's going to be a complex trinomial. So here's an example. We have the expression 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. If I find the greatest common factor, it's just 1. So that means I can't do common factoring. And this number here, the a value, is not 1, so I can't factor this as a simple trinomial. This is what we call a complex trinomial, and we need another way of factoring different than simple trinomials in order to do this. The method we're going to use is called the method of decomposition, so I'll explain what that is. So watch how I do this. I'm going to factor 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Remember, I can't do any common factoring because the greatest common factor of these 3 terms is 1. Also, the coefficient on the x squared term is not 1, so this is not a simple trinomial. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to decompose or split this middle term up into 2. And then I'm going to factor by grouping, which we talked about a few lessons ago on common factoring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my first and my last terms together. The coefficient on x squared multiplied by the constant at the end. 2 times 3, that's 6. But remember I said I'm going to decompose the middle term. I'm going to split it into 2 terms. That means I need 2 numbers that add to 5. So here's what I need to do. I need to find 2 numbers that add to 5, but also multiply to 6. So if you need to figure out what those numbers are, you can make a list of numbers that multiply to 6, 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and then figure out which pair also adds to 5. The numbers are 2 and 3, because 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. All right, so I've found my 2 numbers. Now I'm going to decompose the middle term. So here's what I mean. I take my expression 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, and I'm going to split that middle term into 2 terms. 2x plus 3x. Do you see that 2x plus 3x is 5x? I've just, instead of simplified, I've broken it down. I've decomposed it. And now we're going to factor by grouping. If you remember a few lessons ago, this is where I group the first 2 terms, I group the last 2 terms, I find the common factor of each, and then I simplify it. So 2x squared plus 2x has the greatest common factor of 2x. I'm left with x plus 1, because 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times 1 is 2x. If I look at 3x plus 3, the greatest common factor is 3, and the other factor is x plus 1, because 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 1 is 3. Now I look at this, the greatest common factor is x plus 1, and I'm left with 2x plus 3. So the factored form is x plus 1 times 2x plus 3. And this is the method of decomposition. So just to recap, multiply your first and last numbers. That's what you need to multiply to. And you need to add to the middle term. So once you find your two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5, or whatever it is in your whatever expression you're working on, then you break that middle term into 2 using those numbers you determined. Then you factor by grouping. And once you do that, you have the factored form of your expression. So here's an example I'd like you to try on your own. If you need to go back in the video to see how it worked, you can, but this is the expression I'd like you to try factoring now. So pause the video and try this. Here it is. This is what I got. Remember, 3 times 8 is 24, so we need numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 14. Here's a list of the possibilities. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. They all equal 24. But only 2 plus 12 is equal to 14. So I'm breaking 14x into 2x plus 12x. Then I factor by grouping. And I end up with this. If you're not sure about this, you're still questioning where my numbers came from, you should pause the video and let me know so I can help before you move on. Otherwise, I just want to show you something here, is that when you factor and you get an answer and you want to know if you got it right, you can actually check your answer to see if you got it. All you have to do is remember that factoring is the opposite of expanding. So if I expanded the factored form, I should end up with the standard form. So if I expand and simplify 3x plus 2 times x plus 4, and I get something other than 3x squared plus 14x plus 8, I know that I got this one wrong. So this was my solution to the previous example. If I expand and simplify, I do in fact get the original question. So I know that this was the right answer. And you can do that anytime you have the factored form. You can see if you got the right factored form by expanding and simplifying. Now I want to walk you through another example of factoring a complex trinomial. This one has negative signs. So I just want to show you this one so that you remember to always pay attention to the little details like negative signs. So 6 times minus 3 is minus 18. So I need two numbers that multiply to minus 18 and add up to negative 7. Pay attention to the negative signs. So when I list out my possibilities, when I'm thinking off to the side here, I have to include the negatives. Because I need to multiply to get a negative answer, that means one of my numbers must be positive and the other one must be negative. So it's not just 1 and 18, it could be 1 times negative 18 or negative 1 times positive 18, 2 times negative 9 or negative 2 times positive 9, etc. So when I go through that process of thinking about what are the possible numbers that multiply to negative 18, I have to include all of the negative signs as well. So 2 and negative 9 add up to get negative 7. It's important because that's different than negative 2 and positive 9. If you choose wrongly here, then you're going to mess up in your solution. So my numbers are actually positive 2 and negative 9. So I decompose my middle term. Negative 7x becomes plus 2x minus 9x. Now I have 4 terms, and I'm going to factor by grouping. So 6x squared plus 2x has the greatest common factor of 2x, and the other factor must be 3x plus 1. In negative 9x minus 3, I'm going to use negative 3 as my greatest common factor. The other one will be 3x plus 1. Notice that at this point, these two factors should be the same, and if they're not, if you're different by plus or minus signs, then you just need to change the sign on your common factor here so that this part is the same as this. So, because these are the same, they are the greatest common factor, 3x plus 1, and we're left with 2x minus 3 as the other factor. So now it's your turn. Factor these expressions. Pay attention to the plus and minus signs as you do this. Pause the video and try it. Here's what we get. If you got something different, you should pause the video and ask me before you move on. Here's another example I want to walk you through. 12x squared plus 10x minus 8. Now, a lot of people look at this and they think automatically, oh, I need to multiply 12 times negative 8 and find two numbers that multiply to that and add to 10. However, be careful. Be on the lookout for greatest common factor as your first step every time. Always look for the greatest common factor. Because instead of finding two numbers that multiply to negative 96, we need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 24. We're making our work a little easier for ourselves, and it says factor fully. So if you can find a greatest common factor, you need to do that so that you can factor fully. So now I can think off to the side here about numbers that multiply to 6 times negative 4, which is negative 24, and add to 5. I find my two numbers are negative 3 and 8, so I decompose the middle term, and now I factor by grouping. So when I go through that process, I end up with this as my factored form. Make sure that you keep your greatest common factor as a factor all the way through. Don't just lose the 2 once you've factored it out. It needs to stay there because we have this equal sign, so we still have to have it equal the same amount. So the 2 needs to remain there. Don't lose it as you work through the factoring process. And now it's your turn. So for each of these expressions, I'd like you to factor fully. Pause the video and try this on your own. So here we are. In the first one, there is no greatest common factor, so I just start factoring it as a complex trinomial, and I get this. The second one, I do have a greatest common factor of minus 5, which leaves me with 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. Then I decompose the middle term and factor by grouping, and I end up with this as my fully factored form. So if you got something different and you're not sure where the problem is, then you should pause the video and let me know before you keep going. Now I want to stress that some expressions cannot be factored. Like this one, 2x squared plus 3x plus 6. There's no greatest common factor, so it looks like a complex trinomial. 2 times 6 is 12, so I need two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 3. So numbers that multiply to 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Do any of those add to 3? No. 1 plus 12 is 13, 2 plus 6 is 8, 3 plus 4 is 7. None of these possibilities add up to 3. So I can't factor this expression. Now here's why. If I graphed this function, it would look like this. Notice that there are no x-intercepts. Remember the factored form shows you where the x-intercepts are on the function? Well, if you can't make the factored form equation, that means you don't have any x-intercepts on the graph. So that makes sense. Just be on the lookout for this, because if the question says factor if possible, you need to be on the lookout for whether or not you can actually factor the expression. Now for those up for the challenge, here's a challenge question. A rectangle has area defined by this expression. That's the area. Factor the area to find algebraic expressions for the length and width of the rectangle. And then a follow-up question, if x represents 10 centimeters, determine the perimeter and area of the rectangle. All right, so if you're up for the challenge, you can pause the video and try this question. Here's part A. Area is 6x squared plus 13x minus 8. Factor that, we get this. Remember, area of a rectangle is width times length. So one of the factors is width, the other factor is length. If you need more time for part B, you can pause the video again and try it. If the width is 2x minus 1 and x is 10 centimeters, then 2 times 10 minus 1 is 19 centimeters. That's the width. The length is 3x plus 8, so 3 times 10 plus 8 is 38 centimeters for the length. If I know the width and the length, I can find the perimeter. Add up all the sides of the rectangle, you get 114 centimeters as the perimeter. Now the area is width times length, so 19 times 38, that's 722 centimeters squared. So now it's time to practice. All these questions on page 109 of the textbook deal with factoring complex trinomials, and just look out for common factoring first, and if the question says factor if possible, you need to be on the lookout for whether or not you can actually factor the question. Okay, so if you have any issues, just let me know and I can do my best to help.